it is often unconscious defense. Resistance is unconscious defense that has mechanism that helps your client avoid psychological discomfort and distress. So that is protecting your client from confronting painful truth and unsolved issues that is coming from their past. Also, there are some kind of list of resistance, avoidance first. So the client may avoid discussing certain topics, diverting conversations to unrelated matters. And then other than avoidance, there should be denial. Your client may deny the existence of certain feelings or experiences or the need of changes. That is a denial. There should be denial. And then also there are intellectualization. That meaning is resistance can also appear as over rationalization or excessive intellectualization. That is kind of over, reacting to certain kind of topics, where the emotion aspects of the issues that is avoided by focusing on logic and facts. That is intellectualization. And then opposition to therapy. Sometimes this may include reluctant to attend sessions, failing to follow through with assignments, or showing reluctance towards the therapist's suggestions. And then also there should be defensiveness, which is the person might react defensively, denying the therapist interpretation or becoming hostile sometimes. And then the resistance is also used as a barrier. Okay, resistance can be a significant barrier to progress in therapy because it can prevent your client from fully engaging in the therapeutic process and delay healing or resolution of psychological issues. So it is very important, which is the role of therapist. So the therapist's job is to recognize and understand the true form of resistance. So therapists can help client work through those, the resistance by gently challenging defenses and explore the underlying issues and contributing to the resistance. So this requires non-judgmental, empathetic approaches. When you go through this process, you shouldn't be judgmental. Okay, this is right, that is wrong, nothing like this. Also, it is very important. You should be very empathetic. Empathetic means put yourself in someone else's situation. You better try to feel with your client's feeling. You try to be having an thoughts, emotions of your clients have. That is empathetic. That's how you can understand your clients more better. So the resistance transference. Resistance can sometimes be linked to transference, okay? Where unsolved feelings that is coming from past relationship that is projected into a therapist or others. So the feelings may make it difficult for person to trust or engage fully with the therapeutic process. And then lastly, I want to go over interpretation. In psychological context, interpretation refers to the process of understanding. That also includes analyzing and giving some kind of meaning to the person's thoughts, feelings, behavior, or experiences. This is especially important in therapeutic settings, like therapeutic settings like psychoanalysis or counseling, in which the therapists interpret your client's words, dreams, actions, or even resistance to help the client gain insight into their unconscious processes or unsolved conflicts or emotional struggles. Okay, there are some key aspects of interpretation. First, which is understanding unconscious process. Another one is making meaning. Others, interpreting resistance. Also, another interpretation of dream. Another interpretation of transference. And finally, you try to give insight and healing. And then another interpretation might be cognitive interpretation. There are also therapeutic processes involved. These are all key aspects of interpretation. Okay, let's see which might be the most important about interpretation. First, there is understanding unconscious process, which is interpretation often aims to make unconscious thoughts, emotions, and motivates conscious. Many therapeutic approaches, especially psychoanalysis and counseling, that emphasize the role of unconscious materials in influencing behavior, present behavior. So the therapist have got the client interpret this hidden aspect of their psyche, which is coming originally from unconscious mind. Another key aspect of interpretation is making meaning. So the therapist uses the information provided by the clients, where it is a verbal expressions, body language, dreams, or behaviors, those things to make you uncover deeper meaning through those analyses. Let's say, for example, a client might express anger or fear, and the therapist, counselor might interpret these emotions like as a sign of underlying unsolved issue from childhood or past, your client's experiences. So you always try to find out the true meaning of those actions, body languages, behavior, dreams of your clients. Another key aspect of interpretation is resistance. In therapy, resistance is often interpreted as unconscious defense mechanism. Okay, resistance is you don't know why. Sometimes your client have their defense mechanism. That is the reason they don't know, but it is originated in unconscious mind, which is the place of defense mechanism. So that prevents the person from confronting painful emotions or past experience. It is simple, right? When they remember, when they bring it out, those experience emotions, they have to face, they have to confront with those painful emotions and experience. That's why they have defensive mechanism. So the therapist's interpretation of this resistance can be helping the client recognize these blocks and work through them. Another key aspect of interpretation is dream interpretation. In psychoanalytic theory, particularly in the work of Sigmund Freud, interpreting dream is a key aspect of uncovering unconscious mind. Freud, he believed that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious, and that can be analyzed by the symbols in dreams. Also, that can reveal discovered hidden desire and conflicts. So client's dream has some kind of meaning, okay, that is coming from unconscious mind. Sometimes it is because of hidden desire or conflicts. Okay, another one is transference interpretation. Interpretation of transference that involves understanding how your client project feelings about significant people in their past onto the therapist. So this projection can be interpreted to help client understand their past relationship and current emotional patterns. Another key aspect is insight and healings. The primary goal of interpretation is to provide the client with insight into their behavior and thoughts patterns. This understanding can show to emotional healings, behavior change, and personal growth. So the therapist's role is to offer interpretations in the way that is compassionate, non-judgmental, that helps client feel safe to explore difficult emotions and thoughts. Another interpretation we are talking about is cognitive interpretation. In cognitive therapy, the therapist may help client reinterpret negative thoughts or distorted thinking patterns that contribute anxiety, depression, or other psychological difficulties. So by offering these alternative perspectives, the therapist may help the client to reframe their interpretation of the events that eventually leading to healthier emotional responses. And another key aspect of we're talking about is therapeutic process. Interpretation is not just about offering conclusion about your client's problem. It is process way, more about process with collaboration. The therapists, they help, they work with your client together to explore their, meanings of certain actions, behavior. So with a therapist offering interpretations that client can consider and reflects on those interpretations and integrate that interpretation into their own understanding of their problems. There are some, sometimes always challenges in interpretation. Sometimes we call one of them is over-interpretation. Sometimes therapists, they can overanalyze or provide interpretations that is not grounded, that is not founded in the client's reality. So that might lead to confusion or resistance. So always there should be the interpretation is based on your client's true reality. And another challenge might be timing. So offering interpretation at the wrong moment, that might be detrimental. especially your client is not ready to hear it, okay? It is very important. You better catch the comfort time, certain time your client can take your advice, interpretation, any talks about the meaning of certain behavior and thoughts. So picking up the right time is very important. Like when client has other thoughts in their mind, some kind of worries they have at the present time, they don't like to accept the interpretation of a therapist. So right time might be very important. Okay, client readiness, it is related to timing too. So client may not always ready to accept interpretation, right? So if they feel like threatens or challenges by any kind of interpretation, they don't they don't accept your interpretation. So it is very essential that interpretation is made when the client is open to explore those interpretation with a therapist. So there should be always linked. The open mind is linked to the timing too. Okay, let's see. Okay, so in summary, the interpretation in therapy is one of the tools that therapists use to help clients explore and understand the deeper meanings behind their experiences, emotions, behaviors. So that requires your client and therapist sensitivity, empathy, and then the understanding of both clients' unique history and therapeutic process too. Everybody has different life stories, so they have their own unique stories. So you try to understand their situations, times, the stories. Then you can start the therapeutic process. So I think this is all about Sigmund Freud, psychoanalysis, analytic theory. Okay. Then we'd like to see another topic, which is we get the psychos Eric Erikson. Okay. So, a brief summary of Sigmund Freud. He is one of founder of psychoanalytic theory. Okay, in his theory, it is very important that our mind has conscious, unconscious mind. Okay? Conscious mind is not logical. Unconscious mind is not logical. Okay? Other than conscious mind is logical. So there are also preconscious mind. That is actually about the memories. We can bring it or recall. Here, also, people have three different personalities, mostly. Ego is part of second system of your personality. That is principle of reality. And then it is coming from unconscious mind that has the principle of joy. And then superego covers conscious mind that has principle of morality. And then another important Sigmund Freud psychoanalytic theory is he has also looked at the people's psychosexual origin, the experiences. That is Freud's psychosexual theory. Human development and personality through 5 stages, which is centered around different erogenous germ of the body. Okay, it is the theory. People all have some kind of libido. That is, some kind of energy that drives sexual desire. That has kind of fuel to human behaviors and motivations. So, in his 5 psychosexual stages, people have experienced some kind of sexual interactions with, which could be mother and father. That is starting from very earlier in their life. Okay, that influences present times people's behavior, emotions, thoughts too. So Freud says there are 5 different psychosexual theories. Okay, stage 1 is oral stage. It is from birth to 1 year. Second stage is anal stages. That is year 1, 2, 3. Another stage is phallic stages. That is between 3 to 6. Uh, Another fourth stage might be latency stage that is between 6 to 12. Lastly, genital stages. It is over 12 years. So with this, the 5 stages of psychosexual theory, people can experience different psychosexual experience in those 5 stages. That influences each experience they have in different 5 stages. That influences your client's present behavior, emotions, and thoughts. So that is staying in unconscious mind. So with psychoanalytic theory, you try to find out some kind of experience, emotions with psychoanalytic thoughts, emotions, feelings, experiences. You need to cover those things in unconscious mind. So you need to cover those things, uncover those things, and try to give mind healing and some kind of answers to present behavior, thoughts, and difficulties, conflicts. So that psychosexual experience, emotion that stays in the unconscious mind. So you need to discover those things and find what is true meaning of those psychosexual experiences, and then give the counsel to your client present time why certain behavior is being done in certain situation that is coming from the experience in early psychosexual stages. So you can give by discovering those things, those experiences, emotions. You can give your clients the resolutions, then answers about their current situation, behaviors, thoughts, conflicts. Okay, so it has psychoanalytic theory. It has 5 different techniques, which is free association. Okay, it is like free talking. You let your client talk anything about freely. That is free association. Also, another technique is dream analysis. You try to find out unconscious mind that has certain kind of symbol in their dreams. So you try to find out the symbol and give the interpretation of what that symbol is meaning. Okay, and then also analysis of transference. Simply, that is a very fundamental concept. So in psychoanalytic analysis and counseling, that is involving unconscious redirections of feeling, desire, and experience from one person to another person. Actually, you just try to make experience transfer to from the client to a therapist. So eventually you try to be having same feelings, same thoughts same understanding of why certain behavior has must be done. So that is transference. Okay, another analysis is resistance. There are always resistance when you consult with client. Sometimes it is coming from unconscious mind. Unconscious mind has some kind of defense mechanism. So your client, they don't want to talk about certain kind of topics, emotions, behavior, because it is too painful to talk about it. That's why they don't want to talk about certain emotions, experience they had in early time of their life. So the in unconscious mind defense mechanism is working. So you have to understand always when you do counseling, there should be defense mechanism in your client's unconscious mind. So that's why they don't want to talk about certain topics, emotions, and behaviors. Okay, so these are all about Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory. Okay, today, next, psychoanalysis psychologist is Erik Erikson. He has developed psychosocial development theory. Okay, let's go over briefly who Erik Erikson is. His full name is Erik Homburg Erikson, 1902-1994. He was German-American development psychologist, and also he is a psychoanalyst. He is best known for his theories of psychosocial development, which extended Freud's psychosexual stages into lifespan perspectives. So Erikson emphasizes the role of social interaction and culture in shaping personality development, and diverging from Freud focus on behavioral, biological drives. That is the continuous development of a self through 8 distinct stages, each marked by central psychosocial conflicts. Okay, I think I can give you this one. Okay, it is simple. Like many theories of Freud, has one of the best known is psychosexual therapy, right? But Sigmund Freud has 5 different stages that is related to psychosexual. But Erik Erikson, he has different focus on people's, psyche, right? Other than Freud more focused on psychosexual experiences, emotions in, childhood. Other than that, Erik Erikson has focusing people's social connection. Okay, he has made a theory that is psychosocial development theory. Okay, it has 5 different stages. Okay, let's see what the stage is like. In here, if you see the chart, from the born to 18 months, any baby, any infants, they have trust, mistrust. Age 18 months to 3 years, child developed autonomy and shame doubts. Year 3 to 5, children develop their initiative and guilt. Age 5 to 13, young kids, they develop industry and inferiority. And age 13 to 21, young adults, they develop identify and confusion. And at age 21, 39, grown up, they developed intimacy isolation. And another age, between 40 to 65 years, people developed generativity and stagnations. And age over 65 and older, people developed integrity and despair. That is Erik Erikson's social development theory. Okay, it is simple. In this age barriers, each age stages, people have different issues of social development. When you're a newborn child up to 18 months, you learn how to trust, how to mistrust in relationship with your mother and father or caregivers. It is something like that. So each age stages has mostly different topics of social development. So trust, mistrust means it is related to will, desire. And another stage, 18 months to 3 years, it has related to the will. When young child, toddlers, they try to stand up alone, right, by themselves, and then they try to walk. At that time, they develop autonomy. They feel like, oh, I can do things myself, right? So at that time, the will, desire is developed. So each stage has different, topics of social connection. that is related to each words of development. So we're gonna go over this, 8 different stages. Okay, briefly, let's watch a short video. Okay, Eric Erickson, 8 stages. Simple. I think I have to give you some other paper. Okay. Actually, I think you have everything. I think this one too, and then this one too. Psychosexual theory.
I think because I didn't come last week.
It's not coming from last week.
A long time.
Yeah. Anyway, I will give you. Yeah, I will give you.
I thought you all almost finished.
Oh yeah.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. Anyway, we did this one. Okay. Psychosexual theory, that is coming from Sigmund Freud. Okay, he watches people's psyche in different way. Right? He focused more on sexual emotion, behavior, actions about people. It has 5 different stages. Okay. In those different stages, people experience something that influences present myself, right? That is Sigmund Freud's theory. Okay, for example, good example, when you are age, I think 2 or 3, when I look at my kids, they try to manage their, their waist, right? Pee, and then, okay, at that time, mother and father train, right? But when it is too hard, or you don't care how they wanna train, okay? One side, okay, when they pee, when they don't control their pees and big waist, you give too much hard time, then that is experienced in that age stage. Then when they are grow up, they have like more focused on something like, for example, they want to be things very, very organized. Sometimes it is too stressful, for them. Or other side, mother, father, they didn't teach how to control their waist. When they grow up, their life is kind of messy, not organized. That's not typical, okay? But when he studied many cases, he found those kind of patterns. Okay, that's Sigmund Freud's theory. Okay, but Erik Erikson has different theory. Not focusing on sexual, emotion, behavior, and actions. He more focused on psychosocial relationship. Okay. Making relationship in each stage has different influence, different effect in people's life. So he has developed 8 different lifetime stages. Okay? It's not that hard to understand so far. Okay? Okay. Let's see.
Erickson's theory of psychosocial development
Okay.
identifies 8 steps.
Okay. Stop. TV. Okay.
Erickson's theory of psychosocial development identifies 8 stages which a healthy individual should pass through from birth to death. At each stage, we encounter different needs, ask new questions, and meet people who influence our behavior and learning. Stage 1. Basic trust versus mistrust. As infants, we ask ourselves if we can trust the world, and we wonder if it's safe. We learn that if we can trust someone now, we can also trust others in the future. If we experience fear, we develop doubt and mistrust. The key to our development is our mother. Stage 2. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. In our early childhood, we experience ourselves and discover our body. We ask, is it okay to be me? If we are allowed to discover ourselves, then we develop self-confidence. If we are not, we can develop shame and self-doubt. Both parents now play a major role.
Understandable, right? Yeah, very, very understandable.
Stage 3. Initiative versus guilt. In preschool, we take initiative, try out new things, and learn basic principles like how round things roll. We ask, is it okay for me to do what I do? If we are encouraged, we can follow our interests. If we are held back or told that what we do is silly, we can develop guilt. We are now learning from the entire family. Stage 4. Industry versus inferiority. Now we discover our own interests and realize that we are different from others. We want to show that we can do things right. We ask if we can make it in this world. If we receive recognition from our teachers or peers, we become industrious, which is another word for hard-working. If we get too much negative feedback, we start to feel inferior and lose motivation. Our neighbours and schools now influence us the most. Stage 5. Identity versus role confusion. During adolescence, we learn that we have different social roles. We are friends, students, children, and citizens. Many experience an identity crisis. If our parents now allow us to go out and explore, we can find identity. If they push us to conform to their views, we can face role confusion and feel lost. Key to our learning are our peers and role models. Stage 6. Intimacy versus isolation. As young adults, we slowly understand who we are, and we start to let go of the relationships we had built earlier in order to fit in. We ask ourselves if we can love. If we can make a long-term commitment, we are confident and happy. If we cannot form intimate relationships, we might end up feeling isolated and lonely. Our friends and partners are now central to our development. Stage 7. Generativity versus stagnation. When we reach our 40s, we become comfortable, use our leisure time creatively, and maybe begin contributing to society. Our concern is generativity. If we think that we are able to lead the next generation into this world, we are happy. If we did not resolve some conflicts earlier, we can become pessimistic and experience stagnation. People at home and at work are now who influences the most. Stage 8. Ego integrity versus despair. As we grow older, we tend to slow down and begin to look back over our lives. We ask, how have I done? If we think we did well, we develop feelings of contentment and integrity. If not, we can experience despair and become grumpy and bitter. time to compare us with mankind. Erik Erikson was a German-American psychologist who, together with his wife Joan, became known for his work on psychosocial development. He was influenced by Sigmund and Anna Freud and became famous for coining the phrase identity crisis. Although Erikson lacked even a bachelor's degree, he served as a professor at Harvard and Yale.
Okay. What do you think? Each stages, the topics make sense, right? Yeah. Not exactly anyhow, like certain ages, 40 to 65. Yeah. Most grown-ups, they in their life in this age group, they did experience almost everything, right? There should be success, there should be failure. They try to, their interest is more transferred to, some kind of meaningful life. So in those, age group, people try to do some kind of, volunteer works, right? Yeah, because they don't have, less interest about. They still like it, but they don't pursue the wealthy or famous or something like that, right? So they accomplish or they experience dark side, bright side of wealth and the famous, right? So they try to find out some kind of meaningful life in their life. So each different age group has different interests. They develop different social, connections. So try to find out certain meaning of their life in those different age stages. So let's go more deeper about. Okay. Now you can check the handouts. Erik Erikson's Psychosocial Development Theory. Okay, here the slide is summary. Okay, trust, mistrust, infancy time, newborn baby. It's between age 0 to 1 year. It is very simple. Comes up with a question, okay? Can I trust the world to meet my needs? What is baby's needs in that age? The milk, right? Yes. So when the milk is fed good, they trust. Yes. So trust develop when caregiver could be mother, father, right? Provide consistent, reliable, and loving care. So this includes, basic needs of feeding, comfort, warmth, safety too. Yeah. Sometimes, some parents, they do, kind of abusive to their children, right? So that develops mistrust. So that arises when the care is inconsistent, neglectable, or unresponsive, leading to the infants to feel insecure and uncertain about the world. Yeah, mistrust the baby. At that time, baby fears. The world they start to live, they feel uncertain. Am I still being safe? Am I still being, welcomed? Am I still being, safe, trust? That is, they don't talk, but they feel. They make connection, relationship with their caregiver. It could be mother, father. So when it is good, they develop trust. And then that still influence present time of myself. I don't remember, right? But when I was baby, I was cared good, right? I got good take care. Then I can trust people, right? But I didn't get good enough of care from my mother. Then I always suspicious to make relationship or anything. That's Erik Erikson's theory. Okay, so hope that is developed. So fundamental sense of optimism, right? When they have good care, they have positive thoughts, optimism, right? And then they believe if sometimes challenges come, they have optimism mind, right? Yes, challenges come to me. I can overcome it. I can defeat it. Yes. That is hope. Relationship with, result of relationship, trust, mistrust. So for example, good example of trust is people develop trust. Let's see, a baby woke up right in the middle of the night because she or he was hungry in the middle of the night. Then right next, mother wakes up, at the same time and give milk. That develops the trust. But other story, some mother, most mother they feed their babies, but sometimes, or caregiver, they don't care even the baby was crying or not. So that is okay. So let's watch short video about trust, mistrust.
Trust versus mistrust is the first stage of Erik Erikson's theory.
I think now it's okay. Yes.
Trust versus mistrust is the first stage of Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, occurring from birth to approximately 18 months. It's a critical period where infants learn to trust their caregivers and environment or develop mistrust towards the world around them. During this stage, the main question infants grapple with is, can I trust the world? The answer comes from their experiences with their primary caregivers. If an infant's needs, such as nourishment, warmth, and affection, are consistently and lovingly met, the child develops a sense of trust. This sense of trust allows the child to feel secure even when threatened. On the other hand, if these needs are met with neglect, inconsistency, or harshness, the infant may develop mistrust towards people and their environment. Trust in infancy sets the stage for a lifelong expectation that the world will be a good and pleasant place to live. A strong foundation of trust leads to confidence and security in the child's world, helping to foster healthy relationships in the future. Conversely, mistrust can result in anxiety and heightened insecurities, affecting future interactions and relationships. This can lead to difficulties in learning and social exchanges if the child doubts the safety of the world and the dependability of those within it. The balance between trust and mistrust doesn't mean a child must have all needs met on demand. Rather, the key factor is the quality of caregiving and the regularity of these experiences.
Yes. Quality of care. The baby, they feel the true care, love comes from mother and father. Then they can develop trust.
Infant, who is often tenderly cared for, comforted, and loved, learns to trust that life is fundamentally secure and people are reliable and loving. As caregivers respond to infants with sensitivity and consistency, they lay the groundwork for trust. This allows children to approach future relationships in a more open and optimistic manner. Caregivers play a critical role in shaping the child's emotional world and influencing how securely attached the child will feel to their environment. Erickson suggests that successful completion of this stage leads to the virtue of hope. By developing a sense of trust, the infant can have hope that as new crises arise, there is a real possibility that other people will be there as a source of support. Failing to acquire the virtue of hope will lead to the development of fear and a belief that the world is inconsistent and unpredictable. To learn more about Erickson's theory,
Yes, it is important. Yeah. The virtue in that stage, the baby can develop is hope. Okay, when they have trust with their mother